I want to shift gears here because this weekend was a big weekend for the contenders.
Mm-hmm.
We've talked about, top three. We've talked about a top four. Should we have expanded it to a top five? Three teams really shined very, very bright this weekend. I want to start with my hometown, Orlando Pride, who looked absolutely unstoppable. They are right on KC's heels. They're even on points. One goal separates them with regard to goal differential. For me, this was the most thorough, most impressive win of the season for any team.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I mean, 6-0 is pretty convincing, even if it is against a team at the bottom of the table. Utah kind of was living dangerously in the beginning of this match. I think Mike Watts said as much. He may have used that exact term, I think, somewhere around like the 30th minute when the Pride were just continuously threatening. But I think once they get that second goal right before halftime, it was like, there goes the dam. It's completely broken. I didn't think it would be to the tune of 6, but I mean, they can just score from anywhere, and they just turn defense into offense so fast. We've used the reference before. What's another high-flying offense we can use that's maybe not the greatest show on turf for you guys, but you guys are looking like the 1980s San Francisco 49ers or maybe the Dan Marino Dolphins with Mark Duper and Mark Clayton or something like that. Like, you guys just score from anywhere, whatever you want.
Yeah, a little bit of 2007 Pats, baby. Brady and Moss. That's in the conversation, I would say. I wanted to rewind back to the match that I covered against Bay FC. I asked Seb Hines in the postgame presser specifically. My question was, hey, lots of offensive talent in that match against Bay FC, 25 shots, just the one goal. And then my question was, hey, what's the plan offensively to cash in a little bit more? I went back to revisit what his answer was to that because I think that was a little bit over a month ago, and they had the 2 draws in there, but they've looked explosive since. He mentioned a couple things. He mentioned decision-making and execution in the final third. He also expressed optimism, saying, quote, we're getting to the right areas, getting into good positive positions, end quote. He also said there's a lot of competition within this group of players as well. I think Seb may have found his 8 attackers. So one thing that I noticed in this one, they had 8 players that were just go forward all the time, foot on the gas, just go. Yep. Banda, Marta, Adriana, Julie Doyle, McCutcheon, Carrie Abello, Brianna Martinez, Summer Yates. So you mentioned that Summer Yates goal before halftime. Here's how all the link-ups went for the goals, for the 6 goals. Abello to Banda for the first one, Summer Yates off a turnover, Marta on a cross-in from Adriana, Banda off a turnover, so that's two players that convert a turnover into a goal unassisted.
Amazing.
Marta again, Banda on the assist, and finally Ali Watt, another assist to Banda. So like you said, every direction, whatever way you want it, Banda's like, all right, I'll score 2, and then I'll just get 2 assists before I get out of here, hit the showers, just.
I'm glad you lay it out that way because it's funny. We watch these matches, we cover these matches, and just my overarching feeling is like, God, you just never know where the offense is coming from. And then you spell it out like that. It's just got to be a nightmare for every opposing coach. Like, what are you trying to limit in that case? So, because you're not taking away Banda. That's off the table. You're not taking away Marta. No chance. So, okay, do we try to limit Banda? I don't even know if you can limit her. Now you have all these other players with such great quality who can play passes in but can also score. I mean, they're just a complete nightmare. And we haven't even yet talked about, they have a smart, organized defense right behind those other attacking players.
Oh, yeah. This is their second straight shutout. I brought this 11 goals allowed stat. I think it's been a few weeks where I'm just like, yep, 11 and every week it ticks up one match. So it's like, yep, 11 goals allowed still in 14 matches. What's interesting though is statistically they're in the middle of the pack with regard to almost all of these major defensive categories outside of goals allowed. They're not really taking the ball away at a high rate. They're not really, tackling or intercepting or block. Like they're sort of top 4, somewhere between 4 and 9 in most of these categories, except goals. When you watch them, though, they're smothering everything. And I think you're so afraid of the counter or the fast break, however you want to think about that it really messes with teams' minds. And I think when you think about what they're able to do offensively, in their last 6 matches, they're averaging 18.1 shots per game. That's insane.
Yeah.
That's a shot every 5 minutes, roughly.
There you go, yeah.
Against Utah, I know it's Utah, 27 shots, 12 on target, 6 goals. That's off the charts. Doesn't even put it into the proper context in terms of what we saw.
And I want to go through Utah's last 5 matches. And so I'll start back on May 17th. They lose at North Carolina 1-0.
Mm-hmm.
They lose at home to Kansas City 1-0. They lose at home to Washington Spirit 1-0. Then they get a 1-0 victory over Bay FC,
Mm-hmm.
and then they lose 6-0. So they haven't been giving up in that run of games. They're giving up one a match essentially. And then Banda and company stroll into town and you just get run off the field.
Yeah. I mean, Banda specifically, she was torturing Tejada and just running past, like there was just no. She just did that thing where she just runs around you. She's like, I'm not even going to run parallel to where you are because I don't want you reaching out and grabbing me and fouling me. I'm just going to loop around. And I know that I've still got enough speed to get to where I'm trying to go. But yeah, to your point, the Royals coming into this one, giving up 21 goals in 13 matches, roughly a goal and a half per match over the entire season.
Mm-hmm.
So giving up 6, not really on anyone's bingo card, I would say. I actually thought their goalkeeper, Amanda Hott, was not bad. Actually, I think they could have given up. I don't know. This could have gotten maybe shade under double digits if Hott had had an off night. Made some saves, made some plays. This one could have been even worse, I think.
I think she's a solid keeper. I think last I checked when we were doing the MVP episode, and I was looking at some goalkeeper stats, I think she leads the league in saves. Now, a part of that is that she is being pelted with shots from Utah's admittedly not awesome defense, but you see it in those numbers. We're talking about the last 5. She's not letting in a lot, and she's under a lot of pressure. So I think you're right on the assessment with her. I've seen her make some really great saves. I think in their opening match, I thought she made like 2 or 3 brilliant saves in like their inaugural, I guess their return match back to the league. So, tough spot for her. That left-footed Marta strike that like she tucks into the lower corner. It's like, I don't care what goalkeeper you are. You're not saving that.
That's a great point because Orlando was going to score on anybody on that night, and for them to kind of like just cash in on 3 more goals, in the last 10 plus minutes of the match. I mean,
right.
it's insane. It really is insane. And then juxtaposed against the Wave, like again, we opened the show with just 12 goals on the season. Orlando puts up half of that in just 90 plus minutes. I want to shift gears one more time to a match that I was pretty pumped about. Gotham FC hosting Washington Spirit